Come on. Please check. Come on. Please check. Please check. Check, please. What do I do now? Like this such I know. Top level acting skills, top level cinematography. This is the future, guys. Standing here, talking in front of the mic, feeling like Eminem. Still getting put to the test when you have a pure bluff catcher on the river is just the worst spot in poker. But what if you had a secret, big brain method to know instantly what to do in these spots? This is what we're gonna cover today. I will show you 3 high-stakes hand examples where I show you the process of finding profitable calls on the river. With each hand you get some extra tips, and because I'm such a nice guy, at the end you'll also get some more bonus tips on how to not get exploited using this process. So take a seat, relax, put your thinking caps on because Show of Force is gonna take you for a ride, boy. First of all, let's quickly recap the call down process we will use. Step 1. Use bet sizing to find villain's optimal value to bluff ratio. Step 2. Count villain value combos to find out optimal bluff combos. And step 3 is finally decide to call or fold by estimating if they are under or over bluffing, which is the exploit part. If this looks confusing to you, I made a whole video breaking down the process, the theory behind it with a simplified hand example, so watch that first, then come back here. If this looks alright, let's get into some hands. Alright, in the first hand here we are playing 5k and villain, this guy, is a reg who is short stacking, so we are 40 BB effective, obviously relevant. We defend big blind versus a min open, pretty standard. Jack 9 starts betting kind of like 66. Check call 75%. Check call and river he ships. Not the best spot, not the worst spot. That's one level. That's one way of thinking about it. Let's apply the process we learned here. So first of all, using his bet sizing to find the optimal bluff to value ratio, we know he bets spots, so he needs like 2-to-1 value to bluff combos. Step 2, counting his value combos to find out optimal bluff combos. Okay, let's get into the streets and count some value combos here as the second step in our process. I will also put them on the screen so you can follow along. But basically value combos we have like straights, 4 combos, we have sets, 5s, deuces, 9s, and pocket 3s I put just like half of the frequencies of the sets, and queens, all of them. Then we have 2 pair, queen 9 suited, then we have 1 pair type of hands. Ace 9 could still be a jam here. I mean, it's hard for him to be beat. Jacks, queen 10, queen jack, kind of like half the time because maybe he doesn't always battle turn. Queen 8 of clubs, king queen of clubs, ace queen of clubs, which means we need to find roughly 25 bluff combos for our bluff catching here to be break even. But obviously we're looking for more than that. So let's start counting the bluffs knowing we need 25. And we're gonna try to find all the bluffs here first. So we have the missed flush draws that I'm putting on the screen, and I'm gonna read all of that, but that's kind of 16 combos. We have straight draws that missed, around 10 combos. Optional king 10 with a club, which should be like 6 combos that maybe is not always battling. In total, we have like 32 combos max for bluffs. So let's go to like step 3 in the process, where we basically decide if we call or fold based on our assumptions about his range here, if we think he's under or over bluffing. Yeah, we found all of these like 32 combos of bluffs, which is more than 25, but he has to be very aggressive to battle all of them, and we have to remember he polarized from the flop. He used a mixing size like of 66%. So does he really get here and bluff all the 32 combos? I think very unlikely. That's why like Jack 9, we are kind of high in our range. It's a pretty decent bluff catcher actually, but I think a lot of his bluffs got there on the river as well, so I'm just gonna take a cautious line here and fold. Let's see the fold. Unless I have a read on him that he's particularly aggressive or like has a winning red line, a very high one was off flop, something like that. For some extra tip here, with this hand we see the call down process is actually pretty simple. The steps are simple, but the skill is in making the correct assumptions based on other factors as well, as like board run out, stats we have at him, tendencies. Proportions is a good example of like we estimate how often does he bet specific combos to get a more accurate answer. All of these topics can be expanded and I do this in my coachings, but this video here is already too technical for the average viewer. So the idea is we will never have a perfect answer in game at the tables because of the missing information. The goal is to train ourselves to have as high accuracy as possible. Okay, let's move on to the second hand example for today. This will be a more fun one, but it shows how we can use mental shortcuts in game. So here in this hand we have specific tells that villain is a recreational player and on the aggressive side. Okay, we open, call from small blind reg, call from the fish in the big blind. We check back flop. Not gonna discuss the hand too much. Here we do have to say something because I do have a gut shot. Fish bets out 2/3, but the thing is I've seen him be pretty aggressive with probing and I beat almost all the draws. There's so many draws here. Yeah, I call. And now he bets pot size. He used the pot size bet, so again he can have 50% bluffs of his value combos. Let's go ahead now to the second step, which is count the value combos. When he uses like 2/3 turn and then like pots river, I think he's repping very few value hands because the jack definitely improves me. I think yeah, this is just very weird. I think he's mostly repping like full houses like ace jack, jack 8, 6s and 8s, which is a total of like 18 value combos. This means if we can find more than 9 bluffs, we can consider a call with our king 10 high here. And queen 10 is already 12 combos. Then we have like 7-5, 7-9, 10-9, queen 9, etc. We have flush draws. So now moving to step 3 where we call or fold. I mean, even at the first glance, we see there's so many bluffs to choose from. I don't even need to start counting because we combine that with a narrow range he has, which permits fewer bluff combos and the aggro tendencies. I just like snap call him here. You can see, and he has king 7. And that's the good thing about this thought process. If you like practice it enough, you start to see patterns. And in some spots, you don't even have to start counting the combos. For example, here we have like the narrow value range with many bluffs to choose from, and he's aggressive. This becomes just easier. Okay, let's go back to the hand we started the video with. We're actually gonna look into that as well. And we are playing stars here, playing NL2K. Villain is a reg that I haven't played him in a long time because I don't play stars too much. But I do remember having notes on him that he can be like kind of face up with sizings. I don't know if that's the case nowadays, but that's relevant to have. So jack for deuce. I'm gonna mix here for small sizing, not gonna bet range, but yeah, this is a very good hand to bet. Now on the turn, I have some options. I think this turn does connect a bit with him, so I decide to check here. Other options are fine as well, but mostly checking, to be honest. Check. Now he overbets like 1.25x. Like, okay, already not loving this, but check call is the only thing here. I check, and again, boom, we have the big boy ship here. Oh, okay. I just talked to myself for like 10 minutes because I paused the recording and I forgot to unpause it. Sick. All right, as we don't have this sizing in the table, the GTO table I stole from Run It Once, I will tell you how to calculate his value to bluff ratio in game. Basically, we divide the amount we have to call, which is 1.8k. This is the effective stack. Here's deeper. We divide this to the pot size plus his bet size, so 662 plus 1.8k, which gives us 73%. That's how much he can bluff, compared to value combos. Yes, he can bluff quite a bit when he shoves 3x pot. That's how GTO works. Now, when we have to count his value combos, this pot again, these hand examples are kind of tricky because they are more complex pots. They're like wider ranges. If you can understand and do these right yourself, the other ones will be much easier. So I'm just giving you the hard ones. The simple ones you can do yourself. Why this is harder now in estimating ranges? Because he's supposed to raise flop quite a bit on this flop, more like 18-19%, which discounts quite a few of his draws that got there and quite a few of his value combos. But we're gonna try to estimate the value combos the best way we can. So for example, in straights here, I'm gonna put some weighting in them because he's probably gonna raise flop quite a bit with them as well, with sets as well. I'm gonna put some weights. So we're getting to roughly like 22 value combos here, which means he needs around 16 bluffs. When we are thinking about bluffs, we're gonna prioritize for him his like hands with a 3 in them are gonna be his best bluffs. He has an open ender on the turn and he's blocking both straights here. Then hands with the 6, then combo draws, so missed flush draws, which is normally not ideal because he wants me to have something like this, like a 6x of spades. Again, lots of draws are raised on the flop, so we're gonna do some weighting here, some assumptions, and we're getting to like a total of like 18 bluffs. So if we go now to the third step where we have to make a decision, is he under or over bluffing? I'm not really satisfied with the 18 bluffs. This again looks a bit too close. And now if we add the other elements, which again is where the skill is, where we have some reads on him that he can be face up with sizings, the turn stab sizing, his overbet turn, could be a bit too value heavy. Also, we have other better hands, quite a few better hands to call down here with. So we will fold to call another day, or whatever that saying is. Getting back here in the poker room to discuss some extra tips for you. I know this looks complicated and looks like you cannot do it in game at this point. And yes, narrower ranges are way more realistic to actually count the combos in game. One important thing here to realize is that this method, this process will make you the most money, but also it's an exploitative method, which means in this approach, we are basically calling only if we can find opponents over bluffing, and that can start showing in your stats. People see your high fold to river barrel, they can maybe start adjusting. To counter this in most spots, I don't really have a pure folding range. I still RNG some hands in case I see some auto flying bluff from my opponent, thinking like, oh, maybe this guy is adjusting to me, maybe this guy is bluffing too much. Then I can take a note and counter him in the future. And lastly, you can also double check your plays in the solver to make sure your hand is actually a decent bluff catcher and you're not playing something too far off. To wrap things up, I hope you will use this thought process to improve your river call downs. I see this leak a lot in my students. They call river too much. They don't know how to approach river call downs. And that costs you a ton of money in your win rate. If you are serious about your game and you want to improve on this, I will give you some homework. First, do hand history reviews. So in your tracker on like 3-bet pots where you get triple barreled, because we have narrow ranges, it's easier to see this. Second of all, do hand history reviews on single raise spots where you get triple barreled. So you get here like some wider ranges. Third step, we have the in-game practice. After you practice these 2 steps enough, you try to do it in-game. And step 4 is to refine it. We add complexity by going into like more infrequent lines. So like bet check bet, or like c-bet and check call, like I had this 5-6 hand. So go ahead and work on this, and I promise you will improve a lot in your river scenarios. They matter quite a bit. I know this was a very dense theoretical video, kind of complex. Let me know if you like this kind of video in the comments below, or if it's just a bit too boring, a bit too much for you. I like going in depth, but maybe YouTube people don't like this. Like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to get more of this in the future. In my Discord, I started doing some public warm-up sessions where I do some GTO drills or some hand history reviews sometimes when I feel like it. So definitely join the Discord, it's free. There's a lot of crushers in there. If all this content makes sense to you and you are advanced enough to grasp it and you want to get even more advanced and attack high stakes, I do have a few slots open in my coaching. If you want to work one-on-one with me and we go much deeper in this kind of stuff, I will drop a link below. And that is all for today. If you want to see other high stakes hands, I'm gonna link a video here. This has been Daniel. Show force, keep crushing, let's go. Peace out. Good luck, guys.
Yeah, it's the pokers. I play it every day. Got the sturdiest chip stacks from turnies to 6-max. Hate us for nothing. Straight flush or bluffing. Please believe I'll be caking and crushing. Yeah, it's the pokers. I play it every day. Got the sturdiest chip stacks from turnies to 6-max.